Yeah, everybody gonna listen to this word. Yeah, everybody gonna listen to this word. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Linda with Are You Living on Purpose? Today we'll be discussing the 13th Amendment.
Yes, everybody talking about, prison is slavery. You're just not waking up to the fact that prison is slavery. It has been slavery. Look, Lincoln abolished slavery. Lincoln abolished slavery. He was trying to hold together the Union. In other words, the uniting of the country. He was trying to unite. And what he was trying to do was get away from slavery. So what he did to say the only way a man can be subject to slavery is he put it in servitude. He reverted the word slavery to servitude. Only way that you can be put in prison if you commit some crime and you duly convicted. That's how he come back with that. So slavery never has been abolished. He just came back in another form.
My motto has always been, things haven't changed. They've just been rearranged to look like they've changed.
But that's what the Bible tells you? In Ecclesiastes, it tells you ain't nothing new up under the sun. It's just remodernized.
You know, and people don't look at it that way. I went on my phone just so you could know about the 13th Amendment. I know people know the 13th Amendment is to abolish slavery, and you look at it, and I never thought of it any other way than the abolishment of slavery until you actually read the whole thing to me, which says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. You know, you read and you know it's abolishment of slavery, but you never sat up and thought about slavery as in the prisons, you know, and it says if convicted.
Why you think they don't talk about cattle no more? They don't talk about cattle no more. They talk about livestock. Why? Because it's not just cattle no more. It's you too when you put in the penitentiaries. You are counted as livestock.
And now that you're talking about being counted, what's the price over someone's head per person when they're in prison?
$36,000 per year.
And that's what the prison makes?
That's what they make. It costs more to house an inmate than to send him to college. Why not send him to college? Like the Bible says, teach a man how to fish, he'll eat for life.
And he won't be out there committing crimes 9 times out of 10. You know, I don't think our young people look at it that way.
Well, you know, like the Bible says, the wages of sin is death. So what you expect? The wages of sin is death. So those are wages I wouldn't even want to work for. So therefore that tells me that I need to do what the basic instruction before leaving earth tell me, which is the Bible. I need to be thinking in my right mind. Because when God created us, He created us in the likeness of His image, meaning that you can think. You have a mind to think and create, just like God. But you're not God. You're just a co-creator. You're just an image of it. So that means He giving you the will and thinking and reason, called not that the soul, but it's the soul's action.
But you have the power and authority to overcome all of those things that the enemy is trying to get you to do, such as shooting, killing, robbing, and doing things like that.
But ain't that's the devil's qualification?
That's it.
What it says qualification is rob,
is to kill,
steal,
and destroy.
That's his qualifications. So why would you want to adapt to the devil's qualifications? You are listening to the wrong voice, baby.
But they don't know that. It sounds so good. It's like temptation. That ice cream with the cherries on top just looks so good. You know you're not supposed to have it, but you want it.
Yeah.
You know, and the enemy is the same way. Satan, he makes people think things look so good. You know, for instance, like they say with crack. The enemy, he tries to make you think everything is good. You know, it's even like when they talk about crack. Crack is a one-time hit high, and you spend the rest of that time trying to get that high that you got when you first got it. It was the trick of the enemy. It was Satan. He had you feeling so good that first time, then you hooked. But you're worse off trying to chase that high. You know, it's a trick.
Yeah.
But it seems so good, and that first high that you got was so good, so they say. You know, I don't know because I've never tried it, but this is what I've been told. And so he makes it so good to you that you think it's okay, and then you do it and you hook.
Well, the thing it is God. Listening to the word from what I've experienced in my 55 years here on earth. What I experienced that when you follow the Spirit of God, which the Bible keeps telling us, follow the Spirit of God. If you follow the Spirit of God, meaning in layman's terms, follow me. Once you follow God, which is His Spirit, He's going to direct your footsteps. He's going to show you how to walk. He's not going to walk you into nothing that's going to bring drama to you, because He tell you, if you read the word, He tell you that God is not an author of confusion. Mm-hmm. So if He's not an author of confusion, that means that when He order your footsteps, that means He are guiding you the right way, down that straight and narrow road that the Bible talks about that many people don't never make.
Right. It's there's got to be a way to get them to see. You know, even these youngsters who are out here in the streets just doing things and thinking they bad. I mean, you know, what can you say to them? You were there once.
Yeah, well, you know, what I've learned is everybody can't communicate. Some young folks is not going to accept you. You know what I'm saying? It's all about, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Some young folks is not going to accept you, but they accept me, and I thank God for the gift that they accept me, because He gave me a way to communicate. Even in my books, He showed me how to write it just as plain and simple. So it's all about how the communications is. If you know how to communicate, if you know how to get down on their level and pull them back up to your level or God's level or God's speed. You understand? It's all about making them think. So we got to speak with parables to get them to understand. Just like Jesus, when He spoke to Paul, He told them, come on and follow me. It was one of them apostles, you know, that He told them, come on and follow me. They were fishermen. He spoke in their language. He said, come on and follow me. He said, and be a fisherman of men. So He spoke in their language and their terminology, and that's what they understood. So that's how you have to deal with these young people, is you got to get to their level and speak in that terminology, what they can understand, and then as you pull them back up, then they should understand. Also, the Bible tells you that so as a man thinketh, it's going to be. So therefore, you have to reconstruct your way of thinking. If you sit back thinking that you're about nothing, you ain't going to be nothing.
Well, let me ask you something. When you were young and you got in trouble, you know, that led you down the path of going to prison, would you have listened to somebody else at that time? Or were you to where you didn't want to hear what anybody else had to say?
I was hard-headed. Mm-hmm. I was hard-headed. If I wasn't, I wouldn't end up in prison. But like the Bible say, everything works out for the good. Yes. Because had not been an author-motivated speaker, or have not been an artist, you know, it's what's got good to me. But I had to go to prison. I failed, I stumbled, I had to go to prison to open my eyes. Some people just have to go that way. Then some people's given so much chance that they not even given a chance to even go that way. They end up in the graveyard. You know, but I had to go that way, you know, unfortunately, but fortunately. Again, like I say, I went that way, I opened my eyes, I learned to listen to what was good, which is the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit was so good that I wanted some more. And every time I accomplished some more, I wanted some more. I wanted some more. And each time I wanted some more, it showed me greatness. The Bible says, be fruitful. Be fruitful and multiply. You can't be fruitful and multiply if you're killing folks. But if you follow in that Spirit of God, you can be fruitful and you can multiply.
You know, the 13th Amendment just, I would like to really, I mean, you really can't dissect it no more than knowing that it's the abolishment of slavery. But in that same clause, it has about, you know, slavery as far as in the prisons. That's what it says if you break it down. It needs to be dissected. It needs to be dissected. It
but
needs to be
if
explained.
you do not read, how would you know that it's in there? You'll never know it's in there if you don't read. It's all about reading.
But see, the thing of it is, most people would take the first paragraph. Well, that was in the first paragraph. They may take the first sentence. I knew the 13th Amendment was the abolishment of slavery, but I just never read all the way down to hear the rest about being convicted and being in prison. You know, I really would like to know how many people ever really looked at it like that.
Well,
or did they just, can they tell you anything else other than the 13th Amendment is the abolishment of slavery?
Well, it's in the context. All you have to do, I'm going to just put it in layman's terms from what I read. From what I read, it was saying that, look, we want to hold the union together of the United States. This is the improvement, this is the modernization that Lincoln started. Lincoln wanted to remodernize the country. And only when he thought about remodernize the country, you can't remodernize it when you got human beings as slaves. So what Lincoln said, look, no man should be held against his will. Now the only way he could be held against his will when he commits a crime. When he commits a crime and duly convicted, then he's subject to servitude. Who gonna run the prisons? You is. The one that committed the crime. You gonna run the prisons. You're gonna get out and pick up the paper in the street. You're gonna make the lights in place. You're gonna make the chairs and the benches that goes in these courts. You, that one that committed crime, and it's not gonna cost us that much.
You know, but with that price tag of being like $36,000 per inmate, you know, look at how many prisons there are all over this country.
It's 30 in Missouri, over 30 in Missouri.
You know, you got 36,000, so then I have to ask the question, or come to the realization that that's why we have people in prisons who are innocent. You know, that's a price tag hanging over your head.
It's a price tag.
And if I can get $36,000 for each one, I don't care whether they committed the crime or not. It's the way those people are thinking and putting them in there, especially with the ones that are in there and they didn't do anything.
Right.
You know,
so those are the ones that's caught up in the system.
You know, but even the ones who did commit the crime, you know, you committed the crime, you go in there, you do the time. They're not rehabilitating you because they want you to go out and repeat again and come back in. That's another $36,000.
You have to want to be rehabilitated. You have to rehabilitate yourself.
Yeah, but that's not the way the prisons were set up to be designed. They were designed for the prison system itself to rehabilitate you while you're in there. And they don't do that. So then, you know, you have to be strong like you. You rehabilitated yourself. You know, most of those men in there may not do that or may not have had the drive. I know you talked to several of them while you were in there, and that's a big help. But you have some who are just in there and have no drive and don't know, and they'll end up being
You can hear them making plans.
You know.
All of the ones that was talking about doing wrong when they get out, I had to get up from the circle and leave. And they said, where you going? I said, because y'all making plans to come back. I'm not trying to come back. That was the only difference between me and them. Is if you making plans to do anything wrong, then you are working for the wages of sin is death. I'm not trying to work for them kind of wages. I'm sorry, I don't want to be a part of it. You know, I want to do what the Holy Spirit wants me to do. When he ordered my footsteps, I want to live and be prosperous. I want to be fruitful. I want to inherit the promises and the blessings that God got set aside for me. I want his will. So in order to get his will, I have to be one to do his will.
Yeah, and you have to make them, you know, they have to see. Because, you know, even when you get out, if you're not rehabilitated, that's 9 times out of 10, you're going to go back in there. Do you realize, you know, you have a lot of people, a lot of guys say, well, you know, there's no jobs out there for me. Not because they haven't been to prison, but because
it's in the way they think.
But not even, I'm not talking, they haven't even been to prison yet. But they say, woe is me because I can't get a job. So they go out and sell dope or do whatever they're going to do. Then they end up in slavery, which is, you got to think outside the box.
Yeah.
You got to outsmart them. Okay, so they want me and want to get $36,000 from my head, put me in the system and don't rehabilitate me, and I'm no better off than I was. I want to be in there. I want to be rehabilitated like you did. You were in there for 19 years. You rehabilitated yourself. You know, once, I've always said, it's okay to make a mistake long as you learn from it. You know, you learned from it, you came out, you did the right thing. But when you get in there and you know you made a mistake, and instead of trying to fix it, you come out and do the same thing, you're not doing nothing but being a slave to them, and you don't, they don't even see that.
For one, God didn't save you for you. For one thing, what they need to realize, God didn't save them for themselves. Every time you got rescued, even if you went to prison, you got rescued. He's saving you for what he wants you to do.
Right. He's trying
if
to get
you
your
got
attention.
if you got shot, he's saving you for what he wants for you to do. When you got caught in that car accident, got trapped in there, smashed all down there to come and cut you out, he saved you for what he wants you to do. Each time he saved you for what he wants you to do. Now how many times he gonna save you, I don't know. But once he see that he cannot save you, you cannot be refurbished, just like a computer. You cannot refurbish that person, then what more can he do? Is go ahead on and just liquidate you down back to the earth.
Well,
To the dirt.
he'll give you so many times, but then once you seem to not listen, then that's it. He's a forgiving God. But my thing is, you did the 19 years. You come out. You were fortunate enough to have people who were behind you, who gave you a job and stuff like that. But there are people, and I know it's happened to you too, where you get out, you paid your time. You paid your debt to society. But then you get out and society doesn't forgive you.
Yeah,
They don't want to give you an apartment. They don't want to give you a job.
Because they want to repunish you.
You've
and
already
over.
paid that debt with 19 years of your life. So for some reason, they shouldn't. That's a form of discrimination.
Why
itself,
are
if
you
ask me.
still punishing me? I done went to prison. I done served my time. I done paid my restitution. Why are you steady punishing me? Why? Why? Because of what I did 30-some years ago in my past? I'm a new man. Like the Bible say, put away the old man. Put on the renewing of the mind. I have a new mind. I have grown up. I have not just gotten old, but I've grown up. And when you've grown up in wisdom, then you are putting on the renewing of the mind, which is the new man. Anytime you go out and commit some crime, anything against the will of God, you are stepping out his will, and the wages of sin for death. The wages of sin is death. So when you go out there and sell your dope, when you go out there and you're doing anything that's against the will of God, you are saying, I want to go back to slavery. Don't wait until you get up in there now and want people to feel sorry for you, saying that this is modern day slavery. You put yourself there. Now, the ones that didn't put themselves there, that's a total different thing. They got caught up in the system.
Right.
But the average person that chooses to commit crime, you put yourself there. Stop crying and deal with the time.
Yeah. You have to look at it that way, because it's a split-second decision. You can do it or you don't. And these people these little kids run around here with these guns thinking it's bad. It's okay to have them, and the minute they shoot somebody, then they want to run and hide, say they didn't do it, I don't know nothing about it, I wasn't there, But you were there and you did do it. If you were man enough to pull that trigger, then you have to be man enough to
serve
do the
that time.
It's a split-second decision. You have to. That's why I say if you're hot-headed, you don't need no weapon. Because just as hot-headed as you were, had you not had a weapon, you would have been out. But I've said so many times that God was trying to get your attention. You weren't listening. So he had to put you someplace where you couldn't go nowhere and you couldn't do anything but listen.
Well, the only thing I can say, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything.
Yep.
This world is full of games. Yeah, all you got to do, to find what's going on, just beat the game. Yeah, you a lame to the game, 'cause you don't know everybody got to do the same thing. Yeah. Here we go, y'all.
KB Production, LLC. We do weddings, anniversaries, parties, music, videos. Any event that you have, call kbproduction.biz. KB Production, LLC.
him in all your ways. Yeah, everybody wanna get it now. Yeah, but you got to acknowledge him in all his ways and the getting down. Got to acknowledge him in this. Got to acknowledge him in that. Got to acknowledge him in every little ways that you got with any contacts. Yeah, that's right, yeah. He gon' guide you in the right way. Gonna keep you from bumping your head. Yeah. Gonna save you some heartaches. Cause he don't want you to have them heartaches in your mind. Yeah, acknowledge him in all your ways, yeah. Acknowledge him in all your ways. When you get ready to, yeah, go down, yeah, to the hometown or anywhere else that's going round. Got to acknowledge the Lord. Got to let it guide the path. Got to understand that God is the one that leads the way, yeah. Yeah, cause he wake you up. He wake you up in the morning. Yeah, that's right, yeah. He wake you up, yeah, yeah. He wake you up in the morning. He scratch your life.
Mira, todos te digo. I got a nice picture too. She's cute, right? Yeah. ¿Qué no se oyó?
St. Louis Hair Academy, straight out of St. Louis, 3701 Kossuth Avenue, was established in 1988 by Bessie Henderson. Students can learn the art of cosmetology, aesthetics, and manicuring for a reasonable price. We offer services, hair cutting, manicuring, shampooing. We make weaves unbeweavable on the corner of Kossuth and Aubert. Our prices are reasonable, and our clinic is open Tuesday through Saturday. Please stop by and see us. Financial aid is available to those who qualify. 314-533-3125, 3701 Kossuth Avenue, straight out of St. Louis.
Yeah. 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 Stop the injustice. Stop the injustice. Stop the violence. Stop the violence. Stop the tearing up your hometown. Everybody just a look around. If you wanna honor your town, stop that violence. Stop that.
Stay tuned to the Are You Living on Purpose show.
Stay tuned to Are You Living on Purpose show.
Know Thyself Psychologically explains it was researched 15 years before it was ever wrote on. To my study theology, philosophy, the Bible, everything.
15 years.
15 years. And if I try to go and write on it, I tried it one time, and I was like in the 15th year. And I found myself saying, I think, and I said, yeah, it ain't that time. And I went back into studying.
Right.
By the time I got through with the studying, what I had seen is what I wrote about. God had showed me the whole self. I'm talking about mentally, physically, and spiritually. He had showed me how you got the brain, the mind, and the spirit. He showed me that the spirit, that the brain. He wanted me to get an understanding of the brain, that's 3 entities that we're talking about: the brain, the mind, the spirit. That's 3 entities.
Okay.
But when you look at it, brain, mind, and spirit, then it's conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Then it's going to break down even more of that when I get to the whole midst of this. He showed me that what went in correlation with the Word of God when He created man in the likeness of His image, and He blew through the nostrils of His nose, He became a living soul, which is the spirit. You can have a body just laying there with a mind, but without a spirit, that's the motor.
Oh my goodness, you just broke it down right there.
That's the motor.
The spirit is what gets you up and gets you going.
Right, that's the whole motor. So right off the top, you're supposed to be thanking the Lord. When you get up, when you wake up, you're supposed to be thanking Him then, because you can see, smell, taste, hear, and feel. And that's part of the physical self again.
So, what you're saying is, these kids, they walking around dead. They
don't know.
The spirit
Right.
in them to be productive.
They haven't been taught. They haven't been taught. The people that they're around, they picking up the bad habits.
Or the bad spirit.
Bad spirits as well, because, the Bible says you teach a man how to fish, he'll eat for life. So if you teach a person about themselves, I'm telling you what it showed me.
Right.
It showed me that the brain is a great mass of tissue, nerve tissue.
Okay.
What nerve tissues do? They interpret what they see, smell, taste, feel, and hear. Those 5 physical senses, which I call the old man.
Okay.
See, the Bible says you got to kill the old man and bring in the new man, which is the renewing of the mind.
Right.
So the only way you're going to renew your mind is you got to know what you're dealing with. For one, we already know we fighting some wickedness in high places.
Oh, yeah.
The Bible tells us that.
Oh, yeah.
And another thing, we know that once we find out what we're dealing with that the Bible said this is a sinful flesh. So if this is a sinful flesh, then that means that what makes it sinful is what we see, smell, taste, hear, and feel, because it can deceive you like it's been doing and influence you.
Stop the injustice. Stop the violence.